An interesting article in the Wall Street Journal observed that we are living through a particularly anxious moment in the history of American parenting. For years, many embraced what's called the cognitive hypothesis, the belief that success in raising children depends primarily on cognitive skills. The more information we can pack into our kids' brains, the better their future will be. But the author argued that there's more to raising children than academics. True success flows from qualities like persistence, self-control, curiosity, and conscientiousness, what we used to call character formation, and what we know from the scriptures is shepherding the child's heart. And that's where homeschooling can be a game changer for parents. It gives them the opportunity not only to teach academics, but to shepherd their children's hearts, to shape their wills toward Christ, and to develop godly character in every area of their lives. Today, we're joined by Sarah Holland, who will share how homeschooling has given her a chance to help guide her children's hearts for Jesus. Let's go meet our guest. We're here today with Sarah Holland, a homeschool mom, learning how we can shape our children's hearts through homeschooling. Sarah, thanks so much for being on the show and for talking about a topic that I love because we homeschool. And just be able to share this with our viewers.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. As we start, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
Yeah, so I grew up in a Christian home, very godly parents, godly grandparents, super blessed by that.
Yeah, the gift.
Absolutely. So I was raised with a very good example. And then I went to Liberty University.
Mm-hmm. So did I.
Christian, yes, love it. Christian University, got my undergrad in public relations and advertising, and then got my master's as I was working as a resident director there in communications, teaching, and professional, just general communications.
Yeah.
So when I was in undergrad is where I met my husband. We were both resident assistants there, so
okay.
Go Liberty.
Yeah.
So that's where I met my husband, Peter, and
yeah.
then when love him. Mm-hmm. But then when we decided to have a family, we were praying, and God opened a door to come up here, and here we are. So,
wow.
And we have 4 kids now, and a puppy.
And a puppy, yeah, the 5th child.
Yeah, so we're doing good, yeah.
And were you and either of you homeschooled, you or Peter?
Peter was homeschooled up until 2nd grade.
Okay.
But I was not at all. Mm-hmm. So I was in public school K through 12.
Yeah.
In a different world than now. Yeah.
And your story is you always knew from the beginning you were going to homeschool, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I actually never, ever thought I would. Mm-hmm. I was like, public school or bust. Like, my kids are going to go to public school. I never, ever thought I would homeschool. But, God changes hearts and minds, and here we are.
What were some of the reasons that you were like, no way, that's not me, that's not happening?
Yeah, so to be honest, at first, I never really thought about it. It just was like I never grew up around a lot of homeschoolers either. So I just didn't think about options, I guess, until my husband, Peter, brought it up.
Yeah.
And my oldest, Judah, being a boy too, was the first one out the gate. We were like, okay, I can't imagine him sitting in a classroom
right.
And enjoying that. Mm-hmm. And he loves to be outside. He loves to run and play and be active. And so Peter kind of started that conversation of what would be the best in general for our children. And then that spurred other things on as far as our reasonings.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. When we look at the education system, I think an argument can be made that it's geared more towards feminine characteristics in general, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just spoke to someone who's got 4 girls, and then I think 5 years later he had his first boy.
Okay.
And they homeschool, and just the reality of learning just how different boys are from girls, and that the kitchen table is like a gymnastics arena versus a place to sit.
Yes.
Yeah, and same thing with our boys. It's just they're bouncing off the walls all the time. My kids can't even sit to eat dinner, in one spot for a while. And I just, it's a great question to ask. There are different ways that we learn. We're created differently, and are there spaces where we can more uniquely adapt to our children's learning style.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
How did your faith play a role in the decision to homeschool?
Yeah, so when Peter first brought it up, I was like, no, because I was very.
You're going to do it, right, Peter?
Yeah, it was a lot on my shoulders, and I think fear played a part in that. I think insecurity played a part in that. The unknown played a part in that, and so I think trusting in His leadership.
Yeah.
And then coming to the Lord and just praying over that and just feeling, it took time.
Yeah.
It took time and just feeling God kind of wearing me down and encouraging me through different avenues, through Peter, through showing me a community that I can have, and then through different podcasts, one from Vodi Bachman that I really turned the page for me. So different things like that, and just really feeling like, okay, Lord, this is what I am called to do. Like, I can't say no to this because I truly feel like this is what we are supposed to be doing. So.
And that's a hard space, and it's admirable in the sense of when your husband wants this more than you do initially, because all the onus is on you to take responsibility for it. So, wow, that's hard. Can you, if you're comfortable, do you mind sharing like what were some of the insecurities? Because I'm sure there's plenty of moms, or every mom, who has felt that if they've considered homeschooling.
Absolutely. So because I wasn't ever homeschooled, I had no idea what that even looked like. I was overwhelmed by, okay, what curriculum do I choose? Do I do Charlotte Mason? Do I do classical? There's a million. I don't like to be put in a box. So I kind of am like, that's a lot to think through. And I'm the one that is responsible and in charge of how my kids are learning. What if I fail? Like, what if I don't choose the right avenue, curriculum-wise? Or what if, this or that? And then also you see on social media all these Pinteresty, like, crafts and experiments and like all this planning, and I am more so on the type B side, and so that overwhelmed me as well. Just not feeling like I was able or equipped, but God can really change that and open your eyes to like your children are from the Lord first, but they're also a part of you, right? So like they have characteristics that I can relate to, and they're not always like these. They don't want all these crafts all the time either, because they're part of me, so it works out. It works out well, but I had to really wear that down.
God chose you to be their primary teacher, whether it's the academic arena or what, but it's life and it's faith and it's all those spaces. And if you look at the history of the world, the teaching arena as it is now is very new. It's an infant, right? Compared to how kids learned in the past, and primarily through what their parents did, apprenticing, following, helping take care of things, Wow. Well, this is great. We're going to take a quick break and then come back and dive more into this.
Good.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back to talk more about how we can shape hearts through homeschooling.
Watch Lighthouse TV wherever you go. Available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can view our in-house studio productions on demand, or watch what's on the station right now with our 24/7 live stream. Search Lighthouse TV online on your streaming device, or go to our website for more information. Visit lighthousetv.org to stay connected. There you can find out what's currently on the air and coming up. How to watch in your area on cable, satellite, broadcast, or streaming devices. Watch past programs or our live stream. Follow us on social media and learn more about the station, our hosts, and our programming. Lighthouse TV, positively different.
Welcome back to One Day Closer. We're here with Sarah Holland talking about how homeschooling can be used to shape the hearts of our children. So Sarah, we just heard a little bit of your story that homeschooling was not something that was on your agenda,
Yeah.
but it was on your husband's agenda, and then God
Yeah.
shaped your heart in
Absolutely.
that. How has God helped you see homeschooling not just as education as far as giving information, but really as discipleship and formation of your kids?
Yeah, so I fully believe that my calling in life is to disciple my children.
Yeah.
I'm called to raise them up, to follow Jesus, to point them towards the gospel, to the Lord. And my husband and I as a team are doing that. And one avenue of that is through homeschooling, but it's mostly because they're with me. They're in that age. They're 7.5, 6, 4, and 2.
Yeah.
And they're in that spongy age right
Yes.
now. So everything is just soaking in, good and bad. And so they also just don't have a filter. So when a question comes up,
Yeah.
they ask it right away. And I want to be that person that is hearing it first. I want to be
Yeah.
that person that can answer it the way that the Bible wants us to answer it, that the Lord wants us to answer it. And be able to kind of shape them in that way, because when they're not with me,
Yeah.
who are they asking those questions to?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I'm trusting that the Lord is providing godly people in their life when they're not around me, but if they were in a public school setting, I can't guarantee that the answer they're receiving is something that I would necessarily
Yeah.
agree with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a huge part of it.
Wow.
Huge part of it.
And I love, just the form of education and transformation we see in Christ is that. So Mark 3:14, Jesus called his disciples to be with him. Right? And for 3 years, he invested, I think in the Gospels, 75% of his time with those 12, and the inner 3 that he spent more time with. And I love in Luke chapter 9 and 10, he sends them out, and then he calls them back, and they debrief, they talk about what happened. So it's just a great example of how we can teach.
Absolutely,
and help shepherd our kids' hearts. And Vodi Bakum, the quote, what was the quote that he had that kind of challenged you?
I hope I don't butcher this. But in the end of his podcast, what really stuck with me is just this symbol of our kids being arrows.
Yeah, from scriptures.
Yeah. And you get them as little twigs.
Yeah.
Like, you get them as sticks. And if you send them to be shaped and sharpened by someone else that you don't really trust, or that doesn't have the right morals or values or biblical foundation, they could turn those arrows straight back at you and fire them at you.
Yeah.
And you're training warriors for Christ. You're training them to be able to have the armor of God in the right way.
Yeah.
And so I want to be shaping those arrows.
Yeah.
I don't want someone else shaping them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was a big thing for my wife and I was, the question of who do we want to be discipling our kids for 8 hours out of the day, and I want to be sensitive and mindful that this was our calling, but not every family can do that, or not every family wants to do that. They just have to be intentional about sending their kids off and then taking them back and debriefing and having the opportunity to undo the wrong sharpening and teaching their kids how to live in the world, because we're supposed to be in the world but not of it. But yeah, I know for us this was a good route for us to take at this time, at least. What opportunities have you seen that God's given you to form non-academic qualities in your kids because of all this time that you get with them?
Yeah, so right now, because they're so little, I think the biggest thing I see, and forgive me if I get emotional about it, but it's just the bond that they have with each other.
That's awesome.
Didn't expect that. As siblings, they love each other. And, they have the normal bickering, that we work through. And, but because they're all together most of the time, they have this incredible bond, and they're best friends. And they play so well together. And so being able to see that and be a part of it and observe it, and sometimes I'm there to play with them, and sometimes I step back and let them kind of continue that bond.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's really powerful. To have it, there is a unique space, right, as a family unit for your identity to really be shaped in a powerful way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our family culture for sure.
Yeah. That's great. Well, good. I pray that continues and they just
me too.
And the puppy will jump right in.
Yes.
What is
Literally,
it?
Probably.
What's that?
I said literally. Probably.
Yeah, literally jumping in, right? That's the part they don't like.
Yes.
Leave my toys alone.
Yeah.
It's like that was like when we had our second child. He was great. Paxton loved him, except for when he started touching his toys.
There's those normals. Parts of siblinghood. So.
What does a typical homeschool day look like? So your kids are younger, on the younger end yet,
Yeah.
but what does that look like for you?
So I try to do maybe like 45 minutes. It'll probably be an hour for my older kids in the morning. And I do a little more like independent type work that they can do. And then my youngest goes for a nap after lunch. And so then we do about an hour and a half when he's sleeping.
Sure.
Just so I can have a little more focused teaching time then. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The rest of it is life skills and play and, being active.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Play is, I heard someone talk about this, a pastor, I believe, or an author, just talking about how play is a training ground for our kids, right? And oftentimes it feels like a nuisance to shepherd their hearts well in that. But those opportunities, discipline is an opportunity for discipleship.
Yes.
Right, and as and then them just learning how to interact with another human being
Yes.
in a meaningful and loving way, right?
Yeah.
They're not born with those skills.
Right. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It'd be nice if they were, but
Yes.
how do you, or what are some of the most encouraging things that you've seen? I know you've talked about the shaping, but as you weave biblical truth into academics, so we have God's general truth and general revelation, they call it. In creation, there are truths that we need to learn, mathematical laws, things like that. But now with homeschooling, you get to weave God's truth into that. So what are some things that have been encouraging about that?
Yeah, I mean, just even being able to, like, work ethic wise, like, I know you don't want to sit down and do this, but we need to do our best because God calls us to do our best. And really, we're doing our work to glorify the Lord. So are you sitting down and scribbling your handwriting? Or are you actually going to write out the copy work that you're supposed to be writing in the best of your ability? And I think because of their young age right now, that's a lot of the conversation is, okay, why are we doing math? Because you need to learn it, but also because you need to do the best that you can to glorify the Lord and honor your father and mother.
Yes.
So things like that right now.
Yeah. Copy work is the bane of my son's existence.
Yeah, I have a left-handed boy.
There you go.
He's doing great. He's made a lot of progress.
Oh,
so
good. What are some of the biggest challenges you've experienced as you're in homeschool and you're trying to shape your kids' hearts and manage 4 kids and a puppy amidst it all?
Yeah, so I think the biggest part, and it sounds very simple, is it's normal disciplinary things. Yeah. Just in a school setting. Kind of like I touched on earlier, like, okay, you need to respect mommy. You need to listen to mommy. You need to obey the first time. It's just normal things that you would teach on an everyday basis. Just in the school setting when they don't want to sit there or when they are elbowing each other trying to write. Different things like that. It's just normal disciplinary things, but those are and to recognize that is part of the shepherding, right? But it feels like an interruption, and it's super annoying, especially when it happens for the 15th or 50th time. Wow. What? So you've probably had this. I know one of the first questions people ask often that aren't familiar with homeschooling when we say we homeschool is, oh, how do you socialize your kids then? And we had some people ask us that on a walk one time, and they said, well, I don't want my kids socialized the way that I've seen it happen when I worked at the after-school program. So depends on how you define socialization. Right. But yes, they do need interaction with other human beings. So how do you help your children still engage in community meaningfully while you homeschool? So huge huge blessing for our family is they have 11 cousins near and 2 other cousins that are not near, but we see them, all believers, all from believing families, very godly parents.
Praise God.
So we're all kind of in a tribe, we're all raising them in the correct way to glorify the Lord. And so they get plenty of socialization with their cousins.
Yeah.
My kids are actually with their cousins right now.
Oh, great.
And so we have that, but they also have each other. And then on top of that, we go to Salem Bible Church and huge kids community there.
There is.
So lots of homeschool families there. They have Bible club, and so they are involved in that. They are involved on Sundays, and then I'm part of SPC Moms, which is a young moms group, and all the homeschool kids are there too. And they get to interact with each other. And then we also do sports and ballet and all sorts of things. So they're plenty socialized.
Plenty of socialization happening there.
But we direct where that goes.
Yes.
And what kind of socialization they have. And right now, in just such a formative age, we want them to be more around people that also want to glorify the Lord.
Yeah.
But they aren't always. And so
Yes.
they are learning in those secular settings. They can now see what behavior is godly and what is not. Because they've had that foundation of godly community. So it's made a big difference so far. Yeah.
That's great. And I know we have great neighborhoods, so a lot of our kids are interacting with the neighborhood kids a lot anyways, but my wife was blessed by a co-op that she found that allowed her to have space with other mothers. Socialization for her was the more important part, I think.
Yes.
And then the kids as well. And we've formed great community with those families, and we're constantly interacting with them. So there's those opportunities. And I love that you're engaging also, like you said, in dance, or because we are to be in the world. And one thing that we do is we take very seriously the neighborhood God's given us, and how do we interact with the neighbors, and showing our kids what it means to pursue Christ and share Him with others.
That's important.
Yeah. What do you say are there any things you're doing aside from the dance and other things to engage in the community, or just about your kids being missional?
So we're also part of a co-op.
Yeah.
And Excelsior is what it's called. And it's a Christian co-op. But you're in a classroom setting, and so it is changing that being home, being able to be wild when you're wild and not when you're not. And so at co-op, we're able to be around other kids that do also want to glorify the Lord, but they come from different families. Everyone is different. And so learning, again, like how to be a good example. So this next year, my son is going to be the oldest in like the grouping, the class. And so we've had a lot of conversations of, okay, Judah, how can you be the good example of like when to listen, how to respect the teacher. Even like letting them pray before class and stuff like that, as far as that goes. But then living missionally, again, I kind of touched on it, like in the secular setting too, of in sports. We do rec like for our county, and being able to see my kids recognize good and bad behavior, and then come to us and have conversations about that, while at the same time we're so proud that they can recognize it and not participate in that as well. And I know my husband coaches Judah's baseball team and has been able to be there and be able to see those wheels turning and be able to have those conversations and be a good example. So.
And that's great, because Peter then has the opportunity also to invest in that. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. This has been great, and really appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
You bet. Stay tuned. We'll be right back to talk about how we can apply this to our lives.
You're watching Lighthouse TV, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This station will feature uplifting faith and family programming. Programs focusing on defending your faith, defending your freedom, and living as a believer in today's culture. To find out more about this station and to watch original content, go to lighthousetv.org. Lighthouse TV, positively different television. Watch Lighthouse TV wherever you go. Available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can view our in-house studio productions on demand, or watch what's on the station right now with our 24/7 live stream. Search Lighthouse TV online on your streaming device, or go to our website for more information. Visit lighthousetv.org to stay connected. There you can find out what's currently on the air and coming up, how to watch in your area on cable, satellite, broadcast, or streaming devices. Watch past programs or our live stream. Follow us on social media and learn more about the station, our hosts, and our programming. Lighthouse TV, positively different.
Sarah's story is a powerful reminder that homeschooling is more than an educational path. It's a God-given opportunity to shape hearts, nurture character, and prepare children for a lifetime of walking with Jesus. Whether you homeschool or not, the call to shepherd your children's hearts remains the same. And here are 3 practical steps that any parent can take to invest in shaping their children's character for Christ. First, model the character that you want to see. Let your children witness the fruit of the Spirit in your daily life. Second, turn everyday life into a classroom for the heart. Use daily routines, challenges, and conversations to connect behavior and experiences to biblical truth and the heart, especially if your kids are being educated outside of the home. Bring into that space things they're learning so that you can bring Christ there as well. And third, stay consistent in truth and grace. Connect with love, encourage them often, and always point your kids back to Jesus. Remember, you don't need to be perfect to shape your child's heart. You simply need to be present, prayerful, and intentional. Thank you so much for joining us for One Day Closer, where we're learning together how to use our one day closer to eternity to bring Jesus-infused hope and purpose to those around us.